All right, let's go.
Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Beyond the Arc. It's Thursday, August 15th, 2013. I'm your host, Joe Bafari, alongside the usual suspects, Brandon Graham and Mike Roach.
What did I do?
Guys, it's been the off season pretty slow, I guess, but there's still been some big stories and some big signings recently. Let's start off with one of my favorite players, John Wall, going to the Wizards, re-signing there and getting the max deal. You guys like it?
I like it. Do you like it, Brandon?
Him pretty much saying that he's a top 5 guard in the league and bringing that out and spraying it around the league, it hasn't sat well with me. And for that matter, I'm going to say that the Wizards pretty much panicked and gave him money too early. So I do not agree with that.
They didn't panic. They had to give him that money.
No, they didn't. They could have waited until the end of the year when his contract was pretty much exterminated. He could give them money.
Does that make him a URA if they wait?
Not necessarily, but at the same time, you want him to prove himself more. I thought he needed more time to prove himself.
Is he
unrestricted? No, he would be restricted.
He'd be restricted? He'd be restricted. They might as well sign him now.
Hey, as a basketball conquistador, as I'm going to say, a guy that deserves max money needs to prove themselves over a certain few years and prove that they're actually effective in that way.
Listen,
I don't think...
Are you forgetting where they're playing right now? They're playing in Washington.
Exactly.
Okay, this isn't L.A. Listen, you got to lock up John Wall as fast as you can. Washington has nothing to look forward to. They're awful.
But doesn't that give you another reason to go and shop in the market for someone that's better? Or use that piece and use...
Better?
No, not better, sorry. John Wall's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. He's really talented on both ends of the floor. He can stretch it as well. He's one of the most versatile players in the league. Yes. The one thing is his attitude. His attitude can act up really bad. First of all, he's not mature yet. I don't think he's mature. He's 23 years old.
Yeah, and he's averaging 8.
That was in the second half of the season.
Exactly, and they started to win games.
Listen,
after having
the same thing for the rest of the year.
Here's my point. Were they winning? Do you see the difference with the amount of games they won when he came back into the lineup compared to when he was injured?
I think everyone in the league did. Well, you're not getting my point. He's too immature. He wasn't at the point in his career we could say, yes, we're comfortable with him. We think he's going to do well in the future. Give him the money.
So what do they think he's going to do worse?
I'm just saying, their accessibility of half the season when he came back after it wasn't accurate. I think they should have given more time.
How is it not accurate?
I just told you.
It
wasn't enough time. If you can prove it over an entire season.
He won them games. What else do you need?
Listen, Mike, you're not getting the point.
There's 2 points here. You help your team as the best player on your team win, or they continue to lose. He helped them win. Yes, John Wall's numbers get better.
Okay, Bradley Beal needed to he was their number one producer, I would say, as a guard without John Wall, and he's a rookie, right?
Yeah, he shot terribly though.
He shot terribly, but he's still a really, really productive.
And they were losing. Really they were still losing.
Okay, they're losing, but they beat good teams.
John Wall was when he came back into the lineup, they were winning.
And did you
That's
see their
the only
schedule
thing
at
that
the time?
matters.
You see
who cares? Everybody who plays in the NBA doesn't matter who you play in the NBA. A win is a win.
I just want you guys to realize that I don't think it was enough time for them to assess the fact that he's getting max money, especially John Wall.
I don't think he deserves max money. A majority of people don't think John Wall deserves max money. But at the end of the day, you have to understand as an organization why the Washington Wizards would give him that type of money.
It's not even whether he's worth the money or not, because if he's a restricted free agent, which he would be after next year, someone else will max him out.
Of course they're going to max him out.
Sacramento Kings, a team that needs a point guard, a number one overall pick, you're going to take that guy, you'll give him a max offer sheet, and Washington has to sign it. So at the end of the day, I don't really think it really matters.
Whether
you think he's worth it or not doesn't really matter because a lot of players get overpaid and it's based on talent. How many guys actually produce and get paid? Very few. Very few elite players do. And a guy like John Wall, next question I was going to ask you guys, where do you see him in terms of top point guards in the league? Where he is right now and where his ceiling is going to be in a couple years?
His ceiling is he still has a higher ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, he's still going to
How high, though? Top 3 point guard?
No, I don't ever think he's going to be top 3.
He'll never be better than Derrick Rose.
Well,
he'll never be better than Russell Westbrook.
Well, the issue is you got Russell Westbrook. You got Derrick Rose. You got... I'm missing so many guys right now. You got Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul. Kyrie Irving is going to be... Number one, Kyrie Irving is going to be the man when he comes up. And I'm missing a whole other...
Let me say this. John Wall needs to produce a
he's going to be damn good.
Shot. He's going to be really good. Oh, yeah, I didn't let you finish. Sorry.
No. Go.
Okay. When we talk about point guards in this league today, you have to separate the ones that are looking for their own shot and the ones that actually want to facilitate for their team. John Wall coming back off that injury in the second part of the season, you can say that he was looking for a shot. He needs to produce because, frankly, he needed to because there's no one else on the team that can.
You can't differ them.
I'm just saying,
ones who create their own shot.
There are the Russell Westbrooks, and then there are the Chris Pauls that make your team better. John Wall necessarily didn't make the team better. He brought his talent. His talent produced wins. That's point blank period. That's what happened. If you want to consider him a top 5 point guard, you need to, first of all, be able to dish the ball accordingly. You need to know when to distribute the ball. You need to know when to facilitate for your team to win the long run against good teams that know how to defend you. John Wall
facilitate to on that team.
Well, they can bring in more pieces and much
shooters. They're not a great team. Let's face it. They're a bottom half team in the East right now.
That's the thing about the Washington Wizards. They can't just bring in more pieces, and that's exactly why they signed him to this deal. They signed him to this deal so maybe John Wall being there, a guy who's locked up, maybe he can bring in more pieces. They can't bring in more pieces. They're lucky they got Al Harrington.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Al Harrington is so terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm Al Harrington, how many guys are going to be like,
Let's give you some big money. Hey, you come over.
I think go play for the Wizards. No, it's not.
The Wizards are pretty much a team for you to showcase your talent, to get noticed by other teams, to eventually be picked up by a contender.
I don't know. I don't know about that because let's look back. The night I was going to ask, comparing John Wall, who just came off a knee injury, not nearly as bad as Gilbert Arenas, but still a patellar injury. Remember they gave Gilbert Arenas that max deal, how much they regretted it. And
but once again, he was
one of the best players in the league at the time.
Exactly, and he proved himself over the season, and he was going off about you. But at the same time, John Wall hasn't. I'm just trying to let you guys be aware. I'm trying to make you aware that John Wall hasn't proven himself over an entire season. That he can sustain injuries, he can play through the injuries, and plus just be one of the best point guards in the league. And he hasn't done that.
I understand.
And he's too young to that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think he's worth that money. My point is, I understand from the Washington Wizards standpoint.
Okay, why that makes sense now.
Which is the same when you look at the Raptors. When the Raptors have to pay Turkoglu to come in.
Okay.
Who would give him that kind of money?
Don't ruin my bus. I don't want to talk about it.
One quick question I wanted to get to.
Let's finish this first. Where do you see John Wall finishing, as well as where do you see John Wall actually, I guess, putting himself against the best point guards in the league, the Rondos, the Chris Pauls, etc.
Well, he's definitely going to be a different type of player than those guys. I guess also it has to do with who's on his team and whatnot.
Of course.
But he won't be a Chris Paul. He won't be he'll be more of a Westbrook type player than a Chris Paul.
If he develops a solid
mid-range.
Yeah. Well, he can't shoot to save his life. That's his problem.
Yeah, just because most of his game is predicated on getting out in the open court and running.
But you can't do that for the rest of your career. It's going to catch up to you, exactly. So you need to generate.
Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be really good. He can still improve on his jump shot. It's not like it's too late for him to improve on it.
He still has a lot to.
Still, you know what? He can be a number 5 point guard. Maybe one day, but I don't see it right now. But you
can say this,
I think he has the potential
for sure. As a young point guard, there's the Kyrie Irvings, there's him, but right now you can't put him up against anyone. I literally think they need to bring another piece to complement him in a sense. Another 4, probably even a 5, even though Nene's there, someone that can help facilitate and just bring buckets.
Well, Otto Porter's the guy they just drafted this year. Was a 3rd overall.
Yeah,
he's the guy that could be a big piece for them.
Hopefully.
Really quick, I want to get to this question, not get into too much detail. Whose roster would you rather have? Toronto Raptors or the Washington Wizards?
That's not the question. Come on,
man. I'm not being biased, but if you look at what the Raptors have compared to what the Wizards have.
What do the Raptors have?
We know this.
Well, the Raptors have a starting point guard.
They don't have Barnard. They don't have Barney.
Is a free agent after this year? Yeah, they have Kyrie Irving for 1 year. Yeah.
They have no.
Kyrie Irving.
Sorry, Kyle Lowry.
Lowry. They got DeMar. They got Rudy. Okay, those guys can score.
You have a guy that can shoot. The Wizards don't have a guy that can flat out shoot.
Okay, Martell Webster came on really big last year.
Yeah, but he cannot flat out shoot.
But I mean, JV. You look at JV and what this guy's done. I understand it's summer. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't exactly a scrub in his first year either. He played pretty well.
He did not shy away from the competition, and you don't have a guy in the Wizards that can say, "Oh, this guy's gonna be great as a 4, a center that can layer down the line."
But the Raptors don't have a guy that's going to be nearly as great as John Wall in the backcourt.
Oh, you still have DeMar DeRozan there. You still have, not in the backcourt, but you still have a guy like that still has a ceiling or somewhere to get to.
We don't have a John Wall, but they don't have a DeMar. They don't have a Rudy. They don't have an Embiid. They don't have a JV.
At this point in the franchise,
they don't have a Novak. You know what I mean?
At this point in their franchise as well, or in the Raptors franchise, we don't need the Raptors don't need a little guard that they can depend on in the future. They need something right now, and they need someone with a little bit more experience. They're not looking for a point guard with little to none and no experience altogether. They need someone that can actually produce and have produced over the past. So
long story short, I'd rather have the Raptors.
Rather the Raptors, because they're both, to be honest, to both their credit, they're both at different points in their franchises. They have different tasks to attend to, but Raptors all the way.
Really, but then again, like I say, Otto Porter comes in this year. Let's see, he has a big season, whatever. That's another guy that knows. I think that the Wizards will have more wins than the Raptors this year too.
He was really consistent in college as well.
Moving on to the next big signing, Nikola Pekovic going to the Wizards. The T-Wolves wrapping up there. We'll get back to that as soon as we return on Beyond the Arc.
Okay, so that was 11 minutes. That was good.
Hit pause on that. I wanted to do 15 minutes. That's why.
Oh, you wanted? Just let me know before, man.
Minutes. Yeah, but you're like going like this.
No, because it was 11. I thought we wanted to get to like 10. I know we won 11.
That was a good set.
Yeah, it was a really good set. It was one of the best, I think.
That's how I